The story begins with a boy named Henry. Today marks the start of his Christmas holidays at school, but Henry doesn't feel much excitement about celebrating with his large family. As soon as he leaves school, his eyes fall on a strikingly beautiful girl wearing a red scarf. In that very moment, Henry feels a spark of love at first sight. Somehow, he rushes to catch the bus, and soon the same girl steps onto it as well. On the bus, Henry's brothers tease him for being shy and reserved, since he usually keeps to himself and doesn't have any friends. His younger sister, Gwen, encourages him to get off before the girl does and try talking to her. Unfortunately, the girl gets down at the very next stop, leaving her scarf behind on the bus. Henry picks it up, but before he can return it, the bus moves on. Later, as Henry and his siblings head home, a man named Leon suddenly stops his car in front of them. Leon works for Miss Graythorne, the mistress of the royal estate in town. He invites Henry and his family to attend the Christmas party at the Grand Manor. When Henry finally reaches home, he discovers that his elder brother Max has also returned for the holidays. Max takes over Henry's room, forcing Henry to sleep in the storage area. Altogether, Henry has 5 older brothers and 1 younger sister. Their father, John, seems to have a lively personality. He has recently taken a job as a lecturer in this town, which is why the family now lives here. Henry's mother is a devoted homemaker who deeply loves her big family. That evening at dinner, John asks Max about his plans for graduation, but Max admits he hasn't decided yet. Soon, the brothers begin mocking Henry again for failing to talk to the girl on the bus. The next day, 2 farmers named Dawson and George arrive with a Christmas tree for the family. They greet Henry warmly, wish him a happy birthday, and warn that a storm is coming tonight, even though the sky outside looks perfectly clear. Later, Henry's family showers him with gifts. Most of them feel ordinary, but Gwen's present excites him the most because she always chooses something thoughtful. When Henry opens her box, he finds a beautiful wristwatch. Gwen ties it on his wrist herself and tells him to make a wish. Henry wishes for snow to fall in their town. That night, when he wakes up, he is overjoyed to see snow covering the ground. But as the cold intensifies, he tries to close the windows, only to realize his hands suddenly hold extraordinary strength, so much that even a gentle touch nearly shatters the glass. The following day, while waiting at the bus stop, Henry notices a large number of crows gathering on a nearby tree. Soon the bus arrives, and he rides to the mall to buy a Christmas gift for Gwen. He finds a beautiful pendant and purchases it for her. But just as he is about to leave the mall, 2 policemen stop him, accusing him of stealing the pendant. They take him to a room for questioning. Inside, Henry senses something strange. The lights flicker repeatedly, and the policemen's appearances keep shifting. They demand that he reveal information about a mysterious sign, but Henry has no idea what they mean. Suddenly, their true forms are revealed, and they attempt to attack him. To his own surprise, Henry pushes them away effortlessly and escapes. For the first time, he realizes he possesses unusual powers. The officers chase him relentlessly, but he manages to slip out of their grasp. Still confused, Henry cannot understand why these people are after him or what is happening around him. When he tries to explain the strange events to his father and the rest of the family, no one takes him seriously. That evening, Henry and his family attend the Christmas party at the Royal Manor. There, Dawson and George approach him again, asking if he is enjoying himself. Suddenly, Henry spots the same girl from the bus. Just as he hopes to connect with her, James steps in and starts talking to her instead. Seeing this, Henry feels a surge of anger and storms out, grabbing his coat as he leaves. Meanwhile, Leon and Miss Graythorne are debating whether they should reveal Henry's destiny to him. At the same time, Henry is walking alone through the forest when suddenly a rider on horseback, accompanied by fierce dogs, begins chasing him. Henry runs desperately to save himself, but the rider's horse is too fast and soon blocks his way. The rider demands information about the mysterious signs, but Henry has no idea what he is talking about. Just then, Leon and Miss Graythorne arrive and order the rider to leave Henry alone. As the rider departs, he warns that in a few days his powers will return, and when he comes back, no one will survive. Leon and his companions notice Henry, standing in shock, so they use magic to transport him back in time to an ancient world. There, they explain that Henry is destined to be a warrior of the light, chosen to protect the world. They tell him that centuries ago, in a place called the Great Hall, a battle was fought between light and darkness. The light won, but darkness was never completely destroyed. To defeat it forever, Henry must collect 6 magical signs. They reveal that on his birthday, his powers awakened, and since then he should have begun to see the signs. But the rider has also started regaining his strength, and others can sense his growing power. Henry still struggles to understand why he has been given these abilities. Leon explains that according to ancient legend, Henry is a seeker, the 7th son of a 7th son. They show him the Book of Gramarye, an ancient text that describes how to recognize the signs, and only Henry can read it. Henry laughs, saying they must be mistaken because he has only 5 brothers and is the 6th son, not the 7th. He insists they have chosen the wrong person and tries to leave, but Leon and the others warn that he cannot turn away from his destiny. In that moment, Henry is shown a terrifying vision of the future, where darkness has conquered the entire world. Horrified, he suddenly finds himself back on a road, nearly hit by a car. Somehow, he makes it home safely. At home, Henry begins researching further and asks his father John, who is a physics professor, whether light can truly defeat darkness. John dismisses his questions, telling him not to worry about such deep matters and to enjoy life at his age. Later, while in the storeroom, Henry opens a drawer and slips, injuring his leg. His mother Mary calls a doctor to treat him. As Henry is about to get a drink, he hears the doctor's voice and realizes this is no ordinary physician. It is the same rider who hunts him. The rider sends Mary to another room to fetch supplies, leaving Henry alone. He touches Henry's leg, instantly healing it, and promises that if Henry gives him information about the signs, he can ask for anything in return. Then, using dark magic, the rider inflicts terrible pain on Henry's leg and threatens that if Henry joins the ancient warriors, he and his family will be killed. When Mary returns, the rider pretends nothing is wrong, saying Henry will need a few more days to recover, and leaves. Later, Henry returns to the storeroom and discovers a photograph of twin babies. Curious, he shows it to his mother, who reveals that Henry once had a twin brother named Tom. When Henry and Tom were only 2 weeks old, a violent storm struck, making both babies cry. Mary carried Henry downstairs and asked John to bring Tom. But John, busy with his thesis, delayed for a minute, and when he finally went to Tom's room, the baby was gone. Despite searching everywhere, they never found him. Hearing this, Henry realizes the immense danger threatening the world and decides to join forces with the ancient warriors. As he studies the ancient book, Henry discovers the full extent of his powers. He can recognize the signs of light, move objects with his mind, travel through time, summon immense physical strength, and even unleash fire from his hands. The only ability he lacks is the power to fly, which leaves him slightly disappointed. Leon begins training him to use his abilities. During this, Henry realizes that the first sign is hidden within the pendant he gifted Gwen. Soon, he sees the second sign as well, but to obtain it, he must journey back in time with the other warriors. In this strange world, an old woman suddenly attacks them with venomous snakes, binding them tightly. Henry uses his strength to break free and secures the second sign, returning with his team to the church. There, Leon explains that one of Henry's ancestors, Thomas, was the creator of these magical signs. He reveals that the 6th sign has never been found, not because it was hidden, but because it was never concealed at all. Leon assures Henry that, as a member of Thomas's bloodline, he is the one destined to discover it. That night, the rider meets a mysterious man who tells him that his dark powers are growing stronger with each passing day. The rider commands the man to bring him all the signs and promises a reward in return. Meanwhile, Henry sits down for dinner with his family when James arrives, bringing Maggie along, the very girl Henry has admired since the beginning. When Henry realizes that Maggie and James are now together, he feels deeply hurt. A little later, Maggie approaches Henry and reveals that she too possesses extraordinary powers. She demonstrates by forming a sign with grains of salt. After dinner, Henry shows Maggie a glimpse of his own abilities. Curious, he asks her why she is with James and whether she is part of the Ancient Warriors team. Maggie explains that Henry should not waste energy on small distractions, but instead prepare for his mission. She clarifies that she is not a warrior herself. She is here only to protect him. Gathering courage, Henry confesses that from the very first moment he saw her, he has felt a strong pull toward her. He finally admits his feelings of love. But just then, James interrupts, asking what they are doing. Maggie quickly responds that she was simply talking to Henry while waiting for James. After Maggie leaves, Henry becomes furious and rushes to Leon, declaring that he doesn't believe he can save the world when he cannot even talk properly to a girl. Leon reassures him, saying that as the Seeker, he can accomplish anything. He advises Henry to focus on his mission first, reminding him that there will be plenty of time for romance later, because if he fails now, there may be no world left to save. Frustrated, Henry storms out of the manor, and in his anger, flames erupt on the nearby trees. Miss Graythorn witnesses this and scolds Leon for not listening to Henry's feelings, reminding him that Henry is still just a boy. Soon after, Gwen follows Henry to the royal manor and asks if he is all right. Henry assures her that everything is fine and tells her not to worry. But then his eyes catch the clouds gathering in the sky, and he realizes the third sign is about to appear. Holding Gwen's hand, he travels through time to a village where soldiers are fighting. Together, they dodge the chaos until Henry spots a shield carrying the hidden sign. He and Gwen chase the soldier with the shield onto a boat. When Henry lifts the shield, a massive man seizes him, throwing him into the water and preparing to attack. But the man notices Henry's watch and agrees to trade the shield for it. With this exchange, Henry secures the third sign. Finally, Henry and Gwen return home through time travel. Henry warns Gwen not to tell anyone about what happened. At that moment, Leon scolds him for using his powers, insisting that he must save his strength for the coming battle. Yet soon after, Leon apologizes for being harsh and promises that from now on, he will stand as Henry's protector. When Henry finally returns home, he finds Max waiting for him. Max says he plans to stay for a few more weeks, but Henry pays little attention. Suddenly, Max grabs Henry by the collar and begins speaking in a strange, unnatural voice, because at that moment, he is possessed by the rider. At the same time, Henry senses the presence of the fourth sign. This time, he and Max are pulled into a journey through time. There, Max attacks Henry, threatening to kill him unless he reveals everything about the signs. Henry calmly tells Max that he knows he dropped out of college after failing his exams, but reassures him that their family will never judge him for it. Henry encourages Max to free himself from fear so the rider cannot control him. When this fails, Henry punches Max, knocking him unconscious, and secures the fourth sign before returning to his own world. Later, when Max wakes up, Henry tells him he simply fainted after a fall. The next morning, a massive snowstorm blankets the entire city, disrupting traffic, water, and electricity. To protect them, Miss Graythorn invites John and his family to stay at the royal manor. Meanwhile, it is revealed that Maggie has secretly been working with the rider. She is a witch who helps him in exchange for the promise of eternal youth. The rider orders her to steal the signs from Henry, since he already possesses 4. On the other side, Leon instructs Henry to meet him at the Great Hall once he obtains the 5th sign. Henry, however, shows little interest as he still doesn't know what the 6th sign is. But Leon remains confident that Henry is the one destined to defeat the rider and save the world from darkness. Soon, Maggie meets Henry at the manor and demands the signs. Just as Henry is about to hand them over, he spots the 5th sign and risks his life to claim it. He then refuses to give Maggie any of the signs. Furious, the rider breaks his promise, stripping Maggie of her youth. She instantly transforms into an old woman and falls into the river, where she dies. Meanwhile, the rider's powers grow stronger, and he begins spreading chaos across the city. Elsewhere, Henry and the other warriors gather at the Great Hall. The law of the hall forbids the rider from entering unless invited. Suddenly, they hear the voice of Henry's father outside, begging them to open the door. The warriors stop him, but then Gwen's voice calls out, claiming that one of their brothers is badly injured. Soon, Mary's cries for help echo through the hall. Overcome with emotion, Henry opens the door, only to realize too late that the rider has tricked him by mimicking his family's voices. As the rider enters, his dark energy smothers all the light. The ancient warriors attempt to fight him, but he is far too powerful, defeating them all and plunging the hall into darkness. Now, the rider turns to face Henry. He attacks, mocking him by asking where his family and friends are in this moment of crisis. He tells Henry that he is just a child and should not even think about saving the world. Then, the rider reveals a magical orb containing Henry's twin brother, Tom. It is revealed that the rider kidnapped Tom 14 years ago, believing him to be the true seeker. The rider throws the orb into the waters of the Great Hall. Henry desperately searches for his brother, but the darkness is overwhelming. Finally, the rider hurls Henry into the black clouds and leaves, determined to spread darkness across the entire world. Inside the storm, Henry suddenly remembers the truth about the sixth sign. It cannot be hidden from him because he himself is the final sign. With this realization, all of his powers awaken at once, and the rider's darkness can no longer hold him back. Emerging from the hall with the magical orb in his hands, Henry channels his strength to trap the rider and his darkness inside the orb. He then casts it into the river. Instantly, light floods the city, and Tom is freed at last. After so many years apart, the two brothers are joyfully reunited. Henry tells the warriors that he wishes to return home, and they grant him permission, as his mission is now complete. In the end, Henry and Tom arrive back at their house, where their entire family celebrates Tom's return with overwhelming joy. And that's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed the journey, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more amazing explanations. Stay curious, stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next video.